Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Cloud, and welcome to my personal VOD reviews of Locals. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at Game 4 of Week 1 for the OP12 Meta, where I played Green Yellow Yamato versus Red Black Koby. Here's the deck list that I played in this match, and if you haven't already done so, please go check out the Locals retro video I made that covers this deck list and my overall thoughts on how Locals went this week. Without further ado, let's hop into the game. Game number 4 for week 1 of the OP12 meta, I'm playing Green Yellow Yamato versus Red Black Koby. We played against Red Black Koby a couple of times now, so hopefully that means we have a good understanding about how to play against this leader, so I think we'll be okay in this matchup. I don't think we're going to change our game plan that much compared to other matches, so I'm just going to be trying to avoid blockers as much as usual, pressure with my leader's double attack, try to get my opponent down to 3 life or less as soon as possible so that I can use my leader's ability to give my characters 2 rested dawns and try to apply more pressure with my characters that way. I will have to be cautious about which characters I'm resting since my opponent can give his characters pseudo rush, but I don't think that's going to be too big of a problem since this time around my deck is slightly more defensive. I'm not sure what new OP12 cards could have been added to Red Black Koby, so if there are any new OP12 cards, I'd be really curious to see what my opponent added to his deck. But yeah, let's just wait out the deck cutting here and then move on to the dice roll. We're going to do high roll as usual. I'm going to roll what looks like a 7. Let's see what my opponent gets here. That's right, we were having a conversation about my dice. My dice right there on the left are technically spin down counter dice, so they aren't made in the sense that they might be quote unquote fair, since the 2 opposite sides don't add up to 7 like a normal dice does, but it should be fine. And it looks like my opponent rolled a 6. So it should be my pick, and I think I chose to go second. Let me just verify that. I can't really see that dice right there, so I assume it's a 6 because it looks like a 2 and a 4. But I could be wrong. Either way, it's okay. Looks like I'm going second. And we get a thumbs up from my opponent. Good vibes, I'm liking it. And then let's take a look at our initial opening hand here. We're starting off with a 6-cost Kuma, 4-cost Kinemon, 7-cost Hody Jones, another 7-cost Hody Jones actually, and a 4-cost Kikunojo. Let's do our counter check. We've got a 1k and a 2k. Wow, this week has been very similar in that we have very low counter in hand, it seems. So that's a little scary for me. Not having a lot of counter in hand just means that I might have to take life early, which is going to put pressure on me. Looking at the cards in my hand though, I'm actually really happy to see my 6-cost Kuma. This is a new card from OP12, so actually let's take a look at this one. 1 second. Here we go. Bartholomew Kuma is a yellow 6-cost 7k power strike character with 1k counter and has the 7 Warlords of the Sea / Revolutionary Army typing. His ability says, on play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards, then this character gains +2 cost until the end of your opponent's next end phase. And then also on opponent's turn, on KO, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life. So this has been a very powerful card to come out in OP12. It is essentially heal 2 for only 6 Dawn. Very crazy, and not only that, it also gives me a 7k attacker on board. This card just has insane value, and I'm really happy to see it because I only own 1 copy, and so having it in my hand right now is very nice. It's going to be able to let me heal while still establishing a very good body on board. Besides that, I am happy to see Hody Jones as usual. You know how it goes. It's a very good finisher for the deck. Being able to rest 2 things and then have an 8k rush is very powerful. Not sure how I feel about having 2 in my hand, but at least, having it in my hand means that I don't have to rely on top decking it. Other than that, the rest of my cards are okay. It sucks that we don't have our early game cards like the 1-cost Yamato or the 2-cost Izo. So that might be enough reason to mulligan, just not having anything to really do at the beginning of the game, nor do I have enough counter. So there's a chance I might mulligan here, but at the same time, having the Kuma in my hand, I think in this matchup in particular would be very strong. So there's a chance I also just keep it because of that 1 card. It also makes kind of sense because I will just be attacking with my leader early on, just trying to get them down to 3 or less life as soon as possible. So most of my Dawn will just be going on my leader to go for a attack. So let's see what I decide to do. And, ooh. Okay, we're mulliganing. Okay, I just think not having enough counter scared me off here. Maybe I should try to be more confident with these hands since the cards in hand were pretty decent. I guess I'm just afraid that by not having counter, if I start taking life too early, it makes it harder for me to want to drop a Hody Jones or, stay alive in the game long enough to win the game. But okay, we decided to mulligan. And it looks like my opponent decided to keep their initial opening hand. Wow, I think all of my opponents this week just went with their first hand. The confidence. Yeah, but for me, I think just finding those 2 cards I mentioned earlier would just help me smooth out my early game into my mid game. So we'll see what we find here with our final opening hand. Alright, shuffling here. Oops. Try to get a clear shot. Fist bump to start the game. And alright, in our final opening hand, we've got 2 1-cost Yamatos, a 4-cost Kinemon, 1-cost Blade Slice, and 7-cost Hody Jones. Let's do a counter check. We've got a 1k, 1k, and a 2k. Okay, this is a little better than before. I mean, I know it's only 1k more, but 4k counter and the fact that we have some 1ks and a 2k does feel a lot nicer. So feeling pretty good there in terms of defenses. Although I will say these 2 1ks might not even be used because I am going second, so I will have 2 Dawn. So the chances of me just playing both of them right now to do some searching is a high possibility. But because they are searchers, I can look at the top of my deck and hopefully find some more counter. And speaking of, I am very happy to see the 1-cost Yamatos in this match, especially going second, and the fact that I have 2 of them. I can play 2, and this will give me access to 2 5k attackers on board if I'm able to attach 2 Dawn to them. So a very nice combo is on my second turn. Instead of attaching all of my Dawn on my leader and going for, let's say, a 9k attack, I could simply pressure with a 5k attack from leader, and then attach 2 Dawn to one of my Yamatos and go 5k, and attach 2 Dawn to the other Yamato and go another 5k. So by doing that, we have 3 5ks coming in my opponent's life, and they would have to burn at least maybe 3 cards from hand, so they can counter out of these 5k attacks. Otherwise, they're just going to take the hit, and I would have achieved my goal of getting them down to 3 or less life. So very nice there, and I already mentioned it, but this will let me search the top of my deck, so depending on the rest of my hand, I can just use this to try to find pieces moving towards the mid game. Looking at the other cards in my hand, I am happy to see the Hody Jones as usual, so not much to say there, just knowing that I have my boss card in my hand already is very nice for the late game. And actually, in this matchup, from what I remember, my opponent will have a couple of blockers on board, so having this Blade Slice in hand is very nice since it's one of the ways I can rest a 4 cost or less for only 1 Dawn. My opponent does have to be at 2 or less life, but with my leader ability, a single double attack will get them down to 2 life on 1 attack, so feeling pretty good there. So overall, this is a very nice hand. But we're going to kick things off, or sorry, my opponent's going to kick things off. I'm going to go 1 Dawn and pass. I draw for the turn, it's the 4 cost Kikanojo, and go up to 2 Dawn for my Dawn phase. And it looks like here I was just looking at my cards in hand to figure out what cards I might need to find. So we're gonna play one, or tap one Don to play the Yamato, and go searching. We find an Izo, Yamato, you're the one who should disappear, and a Doji, Ashura Doji, and we take one of the 2-cost Izos into our hand. I think that's a really good choice. It's a cheap chunk blocker and gives my leader banish, so that means on my second turn I could just use that right away to go for a 7k banish, or use it later. I'm gonna tap one more Don to play another Yamato and go searching again. We see 2 4-cost Kinemons, a Tonoyasu, a 5-cost Momonosuke, and a 4-cost Kikunojo. Don't really need the Kikunojo right now because we already have one in hand. The 5-cost Momonosuke wouldn't be too bad actually because it is a blocker and it can heal me 1 life. So I can see myself taking that in order to just establish a blocker to block some attacks. It's always nice to pick up a 2k, that's always a good choice. And then the Tonoyasu is a very interesting choice. I can pick that up if I want to try to apply more power to my leader or another character, and it looks like I do pick it up. Okay, I can see where I'm going with this. We'll talk about it in my next turn here, but passing over to my opponent, they're going to draw for turn and go up to 3 Don, and they're going to tap 2 to play brand new, looking at the top 3 and picking a Navy character, and they pick up the Kujaku. And then my opponent's going to tap 1 Don to play that Kujaku to go searching again. And yep, this is me just checking the card because my opponent is able to trash this character to give another character, or I think even leader, plus 1k power. And they're going to take the, I'm going to become a Navy officer, I believe the name is the card, which is just another searcher. And then my opponent is going to go 5k to my life with leader, which I just go ahead and take because I don't want to burn my 2ks, and taking the first hit is sometimes okay to see 1 more card. Turn passes back to me. I'm going to draw for turn and go up to 4 Don. Let's see what I drew. It was the 0 cost, you're the one who should disappear, and I believe we got a Tonoyasu from life. Okay. So something very interesting I can do here is I picked up the Tonoyasu because I will be at 4 Don, and because I have the Izo in hand, I can play the Tonoyasu for 2, pop it immediately to give my leader plus 3k, and then play out the Izo to give my leader banish, and now I will have an 8k banish swing. It's only 1k more power than if I didn't play the Tonoyasu, but that 1k extra power sometimes makes the difference, right? Because now my opponent is forced to maybe give me 2 2ks instead of just a 2k and a 1k if I only did 7. So that's why I picked up the Tonoyasu, and yeah, it looks like I'm just gonna go for that plan. We're gonna give my leader banish, play the Tonoyasu, pop its ability immediately to give my leader plus 3k, and now we're gonna go an 8k banish at my opponent's life. 8k banish double attack, and my opponent has to give me 2 2ks. Very nice. I think one of those cards was the Goose. Okay, that's going to be the end of my turn. I pass over to my opponent. They're going to draw for the turn and go up to 5 Don. They're going to play out that event to search their top of the deck, and they find a... I kind of missed it, sorry. I was looking up the Prince Goose to see if that was actually a 2k. Oh yeah, they find a Prince Goose. Another 2k. And then with 4 Dawn left, let's see what they do. I'm gonna tap 2, sorry. Oh, actually tap 3 and play Borsalino. Okay, so this is one of the blockers in the deck, and I believe it has a very good ability for Koby, so let's just go ahead and take a look at this card. Borsalino is a red, 3-cost, 3k power special character with 1k counter and has the film/navy typing. His ability says blocker and activate main. You may rest this character up to one of your Navy type leader or character cards can also attack active characters during this turn. So the reason why I'm calling this out is because it's one of the ways my opponent can give his character or leader a way to attack active characters. Combined with Koby's leader ability to give pseudo rush, it means that all of the characters I have on my board are no longer safe. And considering that all of these are very low powered, 0, 0, and 1k, they are in danger right now. I would really like to keep my blocker, but we'll see if that sticks around. And actually, I think I misspoke earlier. It's only sword type characters that have pseudo rush. But okay, he gives the Borsalino, or sorry, not the Borsalino, the brand new, the ability to attack active characters, and he just went 2k to my 1k, which I just let go. And then now he's gonna go 6k to my life, and I give up a 2k to defend that. Turn passes back to me. My opponent has no Dawn and 4 cards in hand. I draw a 2-cost Hiyori, and go up to 6 Dawn. So this is when I would have really loved to have the Kuma, so I can just play it for 6. But since I don't, and I know my opponent has no blockers at the moment, we're going to try to pressure again. I play my other Tonoyasu and pop it immediately to give my leader plus 3k. We're going to attach one more Dawn and go 9k double attack. At first, I was considering just going 8k because it would have left 4 Dawn up, and then I can attach it to both my Yamatos to go for 2 more 5k attacks. But I went 9 here just because I really want to try to guarantee this hit if possible. And wow, they counter out. I think that's a 2k, 2k, and a 1k. Crazy. Alright, that sucks for me, but at the same time, now my opponent is only down to 1 card in hand, and I still have 3 Dawn. And the reason why, again, I left up 3 Dawn is because I was thinking that if I get the hit, I can just use 2 Dawn on one Yamato, and then I can use leader ability to attach 2 Dawn to the other one. So you can see here, we're just going to attach 2 Dawn and go 5k with the Yamato. They give me a 1k counter. Damn, they know. They're playing this really well, preventing me from using my leader ability. And so I'm kind of stuck here, but that's fine. We're just going to pass the turn, leaving 1 Dawn up. Since I can now use my Blaze Slice to potentially give myself 1k counter for the turn. And overall, we're doing alright, yeah. Ideally, I would have loved to get them down to 3 right now, so I could have done 2 double attacks, but that's not going to happen. My opponent's going to draw for the turn, go up to 7 Dawn, and just start off with a 2k to my 0k powered Yamato, which I just let go. And then they're going to go 5k with their leader to my life. And I decide to take it. Interesting. We get a 2k Hiyori from life. And now my opponent is just going to attach all of their Dawn to their Kyujaku, and I believe that was 7 Dawn, so 7k to my life. Okay, we're going to tap 1 Dawn to play the Blaze Life, giving my leader plus 1k, and then pitch a Hiyori to give myself another 2k for a total of 8k, which counters out of the 7k attack. I probably could have saved myself a life here if I just played the Blaze Slice earlier, giving my leader plus 1k for the entire turn. That would have meant that I would have defended both of those attacks, so missed opportunity there. Turn passes back to me though. I draw a 4-cost Kikunojo and go up to 8 Dawn. And something that I didn't mention last turn is that by pressuring my opponent's life like this, you can see they burned a lot of cards from hand, so it looks like they just didn't have many options for this turn with that 1 card they drew for the turn, which means that I'm feeling pretty good right now. We're gonna go ahead and just tap 7 Dawn to play out the Hody Jones, resting the Borsalino and nothing else, and then taking the top card of our life, which was a, I think, 4-cost Hiyori. Right. And now I can go for life here, but I think it would be more devastating for my opponent if I went after their board. Because they only have one card in hand, I can clear his board, and then he would be stuck having no characters to work with, and then afterwards I can pressure my opponent's life. So I'd only do a 5k here with my leader to see what happens. They give me a 1k counter defending that. I could have potentially just gone 6k instead, so that was probably my mistake. But now, because I didn't get them to 3 or less, we're just going to go 8k to my opponent's life. Finally getting down to 3 life. Now my leader ability is online, so I attach 2 of my Rethodon to Yamato, and we go 5k to the Borsellino blocker. But yeah, instead, if I had gone for board that last turn, they would only have 1 card in hand and be stuck with 4 life. They can't really finish the game with only 1 attacker, so I wasn't too afraid there. But turn passes back to my opponent. They're going to go up to 9 Dawn. They're going to search with Kyujaku and search out an Honesty Impact. Alright, and they're going to tap 6 Dawn to instantly play the Honesty Impact. So let's take a look at that card, because it does KO my Hody Jones. 1 second, we'll pause, and I'm going to go back a little bit. Perfect. I can find the card here. Alright, Honesty Impact is a red 6-cost event with the Navy and Sword typing, and says main, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 4,000 power during this turn, then KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 6,000 power or less. So he gave minus 4,000 to my Hody Jones, bringing him down to only 4k, and then using the second part of the effect to KO my Hody Jones. So there goes that. But that did burn, you know, majority of his Dawn for this turn, which is nice. Yep, there we go, paying the cost. And then with only, I think, 2 Dawn left, he's just gonna go 0 to 0. Oh, where's my pen? 0 to 0, and I just let go of my Yamato. No point of really saving it here. And with only 2 Dawn left, attaches it to leader and goes 7k at my life. And here I decide to use the 0-cost event, pitching one of my Kikunojos to counter out for 8k. And then funny enough, he pops both of his Kyujakus to give his brand new plus 1k for a total of 5k, and goes 5k with life, which I end up just using my Hiyori to defend out of that. So I'm actually now in a pretty rough position myself. That Honesty Impact really turned the tides here. Turn passes back to me. I draw another 4-cost 4-cost Hiyori, and go up to 10 Dawn. But I have no characters on board. My opponent has 3 life, and he has a character on board, so I'm at risk of losing here if I don't clear the brand new. And yeah, we're gonna go actually 5k to the 3k brand new, because I can't leave that up, since that means I could potentially lose next turn if he has 2 attacks. He lets the brand new go, and then I'm gonna tap 4 Dawn to play out the 4-cost Hiyori, use its ability, trashing it to draw 1, and then play out a character from hand, or Land of Wano character that's 5 cost or less, and I play the Kyujaku. Not Kyujaku, jeez, I am messing up names like crazy this match. Kikunojo, sorry about that. And I end up actually drawing, I think, another Hiyori from my deck, which is pretty funny. I pass the turn to my opponent though, since I don't have anything else I want to play, and I want to keep these counter in hand. That's at least 3k counter. So let's see if that works out for me. My opponent is now at 10 Dawn with 2 cards, it looks like, in hand. He doesn't have much options though, which is pretty good for me. He's going to attach 4 Dawn to his Koby and go 9k at my life. Oops, wrong color, sorry. 9k at my life. It's the 0-cost event, fortunately, so I will trash my Hiyori to heal 1 life off of the trigger. Thank goodness. What a trigger. And then my opponent just passes the turn there with 6 Dawn active. So hitting that trigger was actually very clutch for me. It means that I can feel safe with still 1 life, and he didn't play any characters out, so not feeling too scared of losing next turn either. Turn passes back to me. I drew a 5-cost Momonosuke for the turn. I'm at 10 Dawn still. This Momonosuke is actually very nice for me because I can heal the Kikunojo, putting me at 2 life, and then establish a blocker. So even if my opponent decides to somehow find a rush unit, if they just have one in the deck for some reason, then I'll have a blocker and 2 life to survive. And because if I put my Kikunojo into life, it means that if my opponent does attack me, I can trigger it out and have another body on board to potentially go for game. So with 10 Dawn, I know I have to leave 5 up for the Momonosuke blocker. It might be wise to leave 1 Dawn up just in case I do hit, let's say, a Dead Man's Game or Blaze Slice from my life or an extra counter. So with only 2 cards in hand, I think hitting at least 9k here with my leader would be a good choice. But then again, I wouldn't have any rested Dawn for the Kikunojo to use leader ability. But that's fine. We're just going to go ahead and go 9k double attack to my opponent's life. He takes it instantly, so now he has 4 cards in hand. We're just going to go 6k to life, which he takes as well. Oh, that's really surprising. Works out for me, because now I'm just going to tap 5 Dawn, and play the Momonosuke, healing my Kikunojo into life and establishing a blocker. And yep, I leave 1 Dawn up just in case I do hit a counter event from that last life, which would be very nice for defenses if I need it. My opponent draws for the turn and then taps 4 Dawn to play Shu. That is a very interesting card in Koby. Let's take a look at this. It's not a card we see often. Shu is a black 4-cost 5k power special character with 1k counter and has the Navy typing. He has blocker and says once per turn, this effect can be activated when your opponent's character attacks. If that character has the slash attribute, this character gains plus 5,000 power for the turn. I see. I'm guessing that that card is supposed to be like an anti-Zoro tech card. Giving himself plus 5k means that it's a 10k blocker, which is actually kind of good. But it is 4 costs, so if this is anti-Zoro tech, it can get rested pretty easily. But I like it. I like the flavor. It is another blocker for my opponent. So now it's something I have to worry about, and I have no resting cards in my hand, which sucks. So we'll see if we can figure out a way to get around that. Now, while I was reading the card, my opponent did do some stuff. They tapped 6 Dawn to play out the Helmeppo, a very good card in Koby, so I'm just going to read that as well. Helmeppo is a black 6-cost 7k power slash character with no counter and has the Navy and Sword typing. His ability says on play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, draw 1 card, and play up to 1 sword type character card with a cost of 8 or less other than Helmeppo from your trash. Then place 1 character played by this effect at the bottom of the owner's deck at the end of this turn. And he of course goes with the 8-cost Koby. So I will just go ahead and read that. Koby is a black 8-cost 9k power strike character with no counter and has the Navy/Sword typing and says on play, up to 1 of your characters can also attack active characters during this turn, and when attacking you may place 2 cards from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order. Up to 1 of your leader or character cards gains plus 1000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it looks like what my opponent did here is he just gave Koby the ability to attack active characters. And because of Leader Ability's ability to give Koby Pseudo Rush, he's going 9k to my blocker here. So unfortunately, I just have to let that go. I don't have enough counter in hand. And then he puts 2 cards at the bottom to go 6k at my life. And so yeah, here I was just checking Helmeppo's ability to make sure that he can't also attack this turn, because it would change up how I want to trigger here, because if I play out the Kikunojo and his Helmeppo is able to attack my Kikunojo, then I'm in trouble. so I probably want to counter out of this 6k attack with the 2k counter I have in hand. But since he gave his Koby the ability to attack active characters this turn, then I'm not worried about the Helmeppo attacking my Kikunojo, so I just go ahead and take the life and trigger it out. And then my opponent's going to end the turn. He has to bottom deck the Koby and has no Dawn active, but has 4 cards in hand. Turn passes to me, I draw for the turn, and I hit the Dead Man's Game off the top of my life. That saves me a lot. I tap 4 Dawn to play it and use its ability to rest the Shu and nothing else. And then I just go ahead and attach everything to my Kikunojo for one final big swing at my opponent's life, which they do not have the counter for, and I end up winning the game. Woo! That was pretty close, a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. So, very well played by my opponent, countering out of all of my attacks to keep me from using my leader ability or any of the cards in the deck that require my opponent to be at 3 or less life. So, not gonna lie, I was kind of sweating at the end there. And what's crazy is that we did have another 0 cost in our life. So, worst case scenario, I could have maybe taken the hit, trashed the Hiyori, and healed 1 card. So, yeah, okay. Overall, I think this was a pretty good game for me. I did pressure my opponent's life very early on, and he decided to give all of his cards from hand, which means that I just had a free time kind of playing out characters and attacking without too much worry. At the same time, I did attack low with my leader a couple of times when I probably could have attacked a little higher. That would have maybe increased the odds of me winning the game, so something I could have done better there. But if there's something I missed or you caught something that I could have done better, then let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, GG's to my opponent, and that's gonna do it for week 1 of the OP12 meta. So I'll see you guys in the next week of matches. Alright, see ya. Until next time, remember, keep your minds fresh and your spirits free. See ya.